If you want to smell like a snack and at the same time classy, then this video is for you. Today I have 7 gourmand fragrances that smells more than just a sweet snack. Hence, I call them elevated gourmand fragrances. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Joanna and I do reviews and recommendations of affordable and luxury fragrances in my channel. Now, if that sounds appealing to you, then please do keep watching and consider subscribing. First up is the one and only perfume from the Middle Eastern market. And I chose Prodigy Noir by Paris Corner. I know there's a lot of gourmand Middle Eastern perfumes right now, but I specifically chose Prodigy Noir because she's the one. She is the one and only elevated gourmand that I can think of from the Middle Eastern market. To me, it smells super sophisticated considering that it is sweet. Now, Prodigy Noir is not your uber sweet eat me kind of fragrance. To my nose, this is mainly chocolate, rose, and caramel, done in a very classy way. I think the cashmere, vanilla, and amber combo in the base grounded this fragrance and gave it depth. It's a kind of depth that smells alluring to me. There's something about Prodigy Noir that I'm really enjoying a lot. To me, this is more of a chocolate and rose scent backed up with cashmere, vanilla, and amber. Actually, as it dries down, it is somehow giving some coffee nuance as well. So there is like slight bitterness that I am liking. And guys, if you are looking for a sophisticated and classy gourmand scent from the Middle Eastern market, then I highly recommend you Prodigy Noir. You have to keep in mind as well that this fragrance smells very unisex. It's not something that smells very feminine. However, it has its own allure, and I love it for that. Such a beautiful coffee, chocolate, rose, and cashmere combo that I will highly recommend even if you are not into gourmand fragrances. As a matter of fact, this is my scent of the day and I am really loving how I smell like. Once again, Prodigy Noir by Paris Corner. Performance on me is around 6 to 7 hours. Projection is moderate. Next up is a unisex gourmand scent that surprised me a lot. This is called Electric Wood by Room 1015. Now, I mentioned unisex. However, to me, this is leaning more masculine, and it is such a sexy, masculine gourmand scent. I actually put this on my husband's perfume shelf because I prefer to smell it on him. I'm gonna simplify how this fragrance smells like. Basically, to me, this is like caramelized woods. Yeah, that is the description. It is a spicy, caramelized woods. So imagine a block of wood with dripping caramel, dash of vanilla essence, and nutmeg. Then you're gonna get electric wood. I find this fragrance very sexy, especially as it dries down because the woody factor of it becomes more pronounced, and the woodier and sweeter it gets, the more I find it sexier. I highly recommend it to all the women out there as well if my description sounds appealing to you, of course. This to me is mainly caramel and woody notes, so you must be into those notes. I find this fragrance very unique. I haven't smelled anything like it, and I think this is the only gourmand scent from Room 1015, and Jerome de Marino made an amazing job on this fragrance because this is a kind of gourmand that I think fits best for men, and I love it for that. It smells absolutely classy and sophisticated. Like if I smell it on a man, I will definitely turn my head because it smells sweet and at the same time captivating. Highly recommend for all the unisex perfume lovers out there. Once again, Electric Wood Extrait de Parfum Concentration by Room 1015. This smells extremely different from the OG Electric Wood. By the way, performance is amazing. This lasts forever on clothes, as in it will stay on your clothes even if you wash it off. It projects like a beast as well, and I love it for that. All right, next up is Otimo by Perfume Noir. This to me is cozy, sweet, and very classy. It also has that spicy and boozy factor coming from the cardamom and rum. As this fragrance dries down, the vanilla becomes more prominent along with the tonka and praline. It smells absolutely addictive. This is actually my kind of gourmand. There's so many nuances in this fragrance. However, it is blended so well. It opens up spicy and boozy. The cardamom and rum are prominent along with the quince fruit that gave this fragrance a fresh factor. As it dries down, it becomes more of a sweet vanilla scent that has that boozy and nutty background. I absolutely love this fragrance and I highly recommend it if you love sweet vanilla scents. I find this fragrance to be quite comforting and love it for that. A cozy and addictive sweet vanilla scent that is slightly boozy and spicy. I find this fragrance unisex. However, because of its sweet factor, I think this leans more feminine. Performance-wise is outstanding, by the way, just like any other Perfume Noir scents. This lasts on me more than 8 hours and it projects very well too. Once again, Otimo by Perfume Noir. All right, next up is 1970 by Rosendo Mateu. And basically, this is for all the chocolate lovers out there. If you watch my channel, you know that I love chocolate fragrances and 1970 is definitely like my vibe. This opens up quite fresh. However, as it dries down, the vanilla, amber, and the dark, bitter cacao combo peeks through, making this fragrance gourmand. The final dry down smells a bit earthy as well. So imagine like a dark and earthy chocolate scent. That to me smells very luxurious. It is truly an elevated gourmand scent in my opinion because it's not just your typical sweet chocolate scent. And I mentioned before that I love chocolate fragrances, so I have a lot of chocolate scents in my collection, and I chose 1970 to be featured in today's video because to me this is a kind of chocolate dominant scent that smells elevated, almost like regal. What I love the most about it is that it feels airy as well compared to other chocolate heavy scents that I have in my collection. So in the air, it smells like just like a dusty cacao powder that smells very luxurious. This is one of my favorite chocolate perfumes in my collection and I highly recommend it. Once again, 1970 by Rosendo Mateu, and I find this fragrance to be unisex. All right, next up is something that I will call like a floral gourmand. Bora Bora by Giordini di Toscana. Now, this fragrance is basically tropical flowers, and I'm talking about tiare flower, ylang-ylang, jasmine, mixed with fresh peeled apricots in a bowl of coconut milk drizzled with caramel. Yeah, that's how it smells like. My favorite tropical floral gourmand. To me, it smells like an expensive holidays. When I smell Bora Bora, I imagine like an expensive holidays in the islands. Yeah, probably that's why it's called Bora Bora because it is definitely giving like a tropical vibe. It's very floral. However, the caramel is very prominent here as well, along with the apricot that gave it actually tartness, but not too tart. Like in my opinion, it's just enough to control the floral factor of the tiare flower, ylang-ylang, and jasmine that are in here. Plus the caramel gave its sweetness. I highly recommend it if the sound of tropical floral gourmand sounds appealing to you. Once again, Bora Bora by Giordini di Toscana. Performance is fantastic. This perfume lasts more than 8 hours on my skin, even if it's hot outside. Like I used this fragrance several times last summer and it lasts the entire day. I didn't have to respray, so for me, it's a plus factor. Once again, Bora Bora by Giardini di Toscana, an amazing floral gourmand that smells expensive. All right, next up is a fragrance that I think it's either you will love or not, because I heard a lot of mixed reviews about this fragrance. However, to me, it's my vibe. And this is Blue Madeline by Atelier des Eaux. First of all, the bottle is definitely giving elevated mood, right? Now, to me, this fragrance smells like a blueberry tea. And it's a kind of blueberry tea that smells very classy to me. Now, I actually have like other two blueberry tea scents in my collection. However, when I compare them side by side, there's something about Blue Madeline that it smells effortlessly classy. Probably because of the Peru balsam, sandalwood, cade oil, and praline in the base. There's something about this fragrance when it dries down, like it becomes part of my skin aroma. I don't know if I'm making sense. Probably it's mixing very well with my skin chemistry, and I just love when I wear this fragrance. And by the way, it doesn't really smell like a Madeline to me. In my opinion, this actually smells like bubble tea, like a legit bubble tea from a legit Asian bubble tea seller, if you know what I mean. And I'm talking about like a blueberry bubble tea, but make it like luxury vibes. Yeah, that's how Blue Madeline smells like. This fragrance is light and airy as well. Projection is soft to moderate. However, I'm not complaining because I love how it makes me feel. So yeah, highly recommend Blue Madeline by Atelier des Eaux, and I find this fragrance to be feminine leaning. All right, and last but not the least is the ultimate femme fatale gourmand scent that I have in my collection. This is also my favorite cherry scent, Duchessa by Gritty. Now, I'm just going to describe this fragrance as an intoxicating chocolate and black cherry combo. It's a very straightforward scent. It has cherry and almond that I think intensified that cherry factor, and I'm loving it so much because of that. I love cherry notes in fragrances as well. As a matter of fact, I will be doing best of cherry scents in my collection soon, so watch out for that. I don't know which video will come first, but anyway guys, Duchessa is like one of the sexiest perfume that I own. So I think if you love chocolate and cherry in fragrances, Duchessa is like a sure win for you. The cherry and chocolate in here are grounded by sweet almond, brown sugar, and iris, giving this fragrance that dark yet refined factor. And there's something about it that smells very intoxicating. It feels so warm on the skin and it lingers as well. It is a kind of fragrance that actually leaves an intoxicating scent trail, especially if you overspray. Now, men love this fragrance. My husband loves it. I think this is in my top 3 favorite date night scents because there's just something about it that, yeah, smells extremely sexy and powerful. So, yep, sexy, elevated, and gourmand. What else could you ask for? Once again, Duchessa by Gritty, and the performance on me is amazing. It lasts more than 8 hours, especially on clothes. Chemin de Amande by Une Nuit Nomade. Now, this one smells like an almond cake, but make it very sophisticated and classy. The final dry down of this fragrance is quite powdery as well. So I will say it's like an almond powder with some floral nuance in the background. It smells so beautiful. This was one of my best discoveries last year. I love how almondy, cherry, and powdery it smells like. It's a very classy almond scent, considering I have like a lot of almond dominant scents in my collection, and most of them tend to smell like sweet cherry actually, but not with Chemin de Amande. This to me smells like more of like a marzipan cake with like some white floral nuance in the background, plus that almond powder nuance that I am loving so much. I highly recommend Chemin d'Amande if you are into almond fragrances. And mind you, this is an almond dominant scent that doesn't smell nutty. When it comes to projection, it's moderate, but it lasts long on the skin. Let's say around 6 to 7 hours on me. It lasts longer on clothes. Once again, Chemin d'Amande by Nomad, and I find this fragrance to be feminine leaning. So that is the video for today, guys. Now, I want to know which fragrances come to your mind when you hear the category elevated gourmand. I would love to know, so write them all in the comments down below. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, guys, and see you on my next one. Bye!